Ching chong, bing bong bing, bing bong, gabba ding dong, bing bong, bing bong bing, bing bong, bing chang chang.
Look how easy it is to be racist. Let's continue.
Nah. We're rolling into the new year. What? It's not the new year yet. It's not even December yet, you fucking tool bag. Welcome to the DynamiteGizmo podcast, everyone. Episode 225. That's right. You heard it here first. It's episode 225. What makes you think you have the right? What makes you think you have the right to do 225 episodes? Here's today's card. It's tradition around here to show you the card, but it's not tradition to show you what's on the card, but you'll find out anyway because we'll talk about it.
Don't touch each other, please.
Guess what, guys? It's fucking fight week. Oh, my ear. Ow, my ear. Ow, my ear. Oh, that feels good, baby. Oh, keep it going. Don't stop. It's fight week, 309. UFC 309 is happening this fucking Saturday. We got UFC 309 this Saturday, and then we've got fucking Jake Paul and Mike Tyson Friday, which I'm not that excited about, but you know I'm going to have to watch it anyway. So this episode is going to be mostly me talking about UFC because that's what's going on. We're stepping away from all the bullshit for a bit. Huh? Enough politics, enough Trump. We don't need it anymore. He's in. Enough. Move past. Get it out of your skull, dude. Get it out of your face. I'm so stoked for this weekend. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great poppity boopski. I forgot to open something that I needed to prepare for this episode, and I'm just realizing it now, so I'm about to open it, but I'm distracting you by talking into the microphone to make it look like I'm not actually looking for the file on my computer that I needed to open to get this shit started. So here we go. Let me talk like my grandma's coming. Grandma's coming and she's knocking at the door. I got it. Okay, we're good. Dude, that was quick. I am a professional. I've been around the block about once or twice, maybe 3 times. Don't look at me, Gregory. Don't look at me with those eyes, with those beautiful blue eyes, Gregory. I see ya. I see you, Gregory. You got beautiful eyes, Gregory. Put those eyes away, Gregory. There's a lot going on leading up to this fight. There's a lot going on this event. When you look at the whole card, it's not terribly exciting. It's not a stacked card, that's for sure. But it's not bad. I've seen worse. 308 was fucking. I got to be honest. UFC 308 probably one of the best cards of the year. I don't give a shit what anyone says. It was fucking awesome. I really enjoyed that. Even though I had to get up at 8 in the morning to watch it, but that's fine. I was already up anyway. You know, it's no fun watching the UFC early in the morning, but I understand why they did it. But with that aside, it was probably the most enjoyable card I had this year. Well, I don't know. It's up for debate. There were a few good ones. 300 was good. And 300 was one of those ones where we all can agree it was great. But do you remember leading up to UFC 300 how much people were shitting on it constantly? Everyone was shitting on it. And then it happened and it was like, oh yeah.
You little fucking rat.
You little fucking rat. You little fucking rat. What are you, a fucking rat? But we got to talk about UFC 309. Okay, Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic. All right? And then we've got fucking Charles. Charles? Am I fucking this up? Yeah, Charles Oliveira. Why did I forget his name? What am I, a casual? Kind of. Don't fucking talk to me, Gregory. I hate you. Don't call me a casual, idiot. And Chandler. Did I say Chandler? Anyway, Oliveira and Chandler. Also going to be good. Who else we got? Bo Nickel, can't wait to see him. The two chicks, don't know who either of them are. Don't really care for them. The other one I'm excited to see. Jim Miller. You can't deny Jim Miller. Okay, Jim Miller's the goat, dude. Fuck Jon Jones. Jim Miller's the goat. Not lately though. I think he lost his last two fights, and his last two fights were this year. One of them was UFC 300. I think he opened 300, didn't he? Or maybe he was the second one on the early prelims. Can't quite remember. Martinez and McGee's gonna be fucking great. Hafez and Elliott, that's gonna be a good one. Honestly, even Gal and Brahimaj, is that how you say it? That'll be a good one. Those are the ones that I'm most excited. I guess Weidman and Anders, that'll be good too. Those are the ones that I'm most excited about. But there's a lot of shit going on. We need to get into the shit that's going on. So first thing we're gonna jump into here is the main talking point of the evening. Jon Jones ducking Aspinall. Ever since Tom Aspinall got the interim title, I, amongst pretty much everyone, assumed and wanted Jon Jones to fight Aspinall. Because technically speaking, if you're a purist, that's the way it should be. Tom Aspinall has the interim title. He should be fighting Jon Jones. He already defended the interim title, which shouldn't have happened, but it did. He defended the interim title. He got the interim title. He defended the interim title all before Jon Jones could even make his black ass back to the UFC. But now he's here, and he's fighting Stipe. I've been listening to people talk about this subject all week. Not even all week, for the past month, maybe even longer. I hear different aspects of the subject from all angles. And I gotta be honest, I'm trying to come up with my own opinion on the situation. Because there's nothing worse than a person who is undecided and sits on the fence. We don't do that at the DynamiteGizmo shit show. We like to have opinions and we like to make decisions because we're fucking men. So forever, I was like, yeah, Aspinall needs to fight Jones. Aspinall fights Jones. Come on, man. Aspinall, why don't you just fight Jones? But the more I look at the situation, the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe Jones has a point, dude. I don't know if Aspinall deserves it. Yes, he has the interim title. I get that. And everybody gets that. He has the interim title. So from like a technical aspect of the situation, when it comes down to it, if we were supposed to abide by the technical rules, then yes, absolutely. He technically should be fighting Jon Jones. But look at the situation we've got here. Is there ever a time in the UFC where they specifically follow exactly the way things are technically supposed to go? No. When you look at it from a business point of view, and the fact that Jon Jones is a legendary legend who has credited himself to be like the number one in the game, nobody's better than him. Nobody has more influence than him. He can make decisions that nobody else can. He has the power, and he has earned that power. Tom Aspinall, although he's dominated in every fight that he's been in the UFC, except for the one first Curtis Blades fight, he hasn't officially, I guess, like a direct comparison between Aspinall and Jon Jones, he hasn't actually earned a spot against the Joninator. Oh, dude, I'm so undecided, and I don't like it because I'm flip-flopping, and I need to make a decision. I need to come to a conclusion here. I hear so many good points from both sides. They say, of course Jon Jones doesn't want to fight Aspinall. And it's not because he's scared of him. Why would he be scared of him? There's nothing to be scared of. He's Jon motherfucking Johns. All right, but he had the contract with Stipe Miocic to begin with. That was supposed to be the fight. They should have already had that fight, but he got injured and they had to delay it. So the contract was already established. And during that time, because it was on hold for so long, they had to put the heavyweight title on the line. They had to get the interim in place. And maybe they didn't even have to do that. Maybe they could have just waited a little longer. I don't know the specifics of it as to why they had to get Tom in there, but they did. They got Tom in there, and Tom got the belt, and Tom defended the belt. So when you think about it from that aspect of it, you're like, okay, yes, Jon Jones and Stipe already signed the contract. They're already supposed to fight. There's no backing out of it now, even though he is injured and has to be on hold, and Tom Aspinall has the interim title. Yes, continue to allow Jon and Stipe to fight, and then we'll worry about Tom Aspinall afterward. But then you think about it and you're like, well, fuck, dude. What was the point of even doing the fucking interim title to begin with? Just fucking don't even do it. If this is what's the point of the fucking interim title if when the actual title holder comes back into the position where he can fight, he doesn't actually fight the guy who has the interim? What's the point of the interim then? It shouldn't have even happened. Not only did he get the interim, but he defended it. And now Jones can come back and fight, and not only does he not want to fight Tom Aspinall right now, but once he defeats Stipe, he still doesn't want to fight Aspinall. He still doesn't want to do it. He gives the argument as to why he doesn't think Tom Aspinall deserves it. He hasn't fought the legend, the icons that Jon Jones has fought. He hasn't built up his resume enough. He's still fresh. He's still new. And I get it. Because all these guys, they want to rise to the top immediately. Think about how long Jon Jones has been in this game. Think about it. Decades. I don't know about decade. At least 1 decade. Almost. It's got to be 2 decades. Regardless, he's been in it a long time. And so has Stipe. So has Steeped Tea. They both deserve the respect. Don't push Stipe away. You guys signed the contract. It should have happened. It didn't happen, but now it's happened. Okay, fine, good. Let's let it happen. But why do you not even want to consider Tom Aspinall after or if you continue to defend the title? Yes, I get he doesn't have the same credibility as you do in terms of who he's fought and how long he's been in the game. But he has the interim title. He has the title. What the fuck is the point of the title if you're not going to defend it? Sure, he hasn't earned it, but he has it. He has the title. Get rid of the fucking title then if it doesn't matter. This is where I'm at a crossroads. Because I'm like, yeah, I agree with you, John. I think Tom Aspinall has so much potential. I love Tom Aspinall. I think like for sure he is going to be the next heavyweight GOAT. He's fucking awesome. And I think he has a true shot at Jon Jones. But I do agree with Jon. When you actually look at the differentiation between the two, Tom hasn't gotten to the point where he can say he is at an equal level to Jon Jones. He hasn't gotten to that point. When you actually look at what they've done. But technically speaking, he should fucking fight Jon Jones. Technically speaking, he should be the one in there fighting Jon Jones because he has the fucking interim title. Technically speaking. All right? Because again, it's like, what's the point of it? Get rid of it then. Fucking throw it in the trash. The fight shouldn't have even happened between him and Sergey. And then him defending it too. It's like, why did you even do that? Because Tom Aspinall defending the interim title just solidifies more of the fact that he deserves a chance against Jon Jones. If he just got the interim title and then he hadn't fought since, then it's like, okay, whatever. But he fucking defended it. So it's like, now what's gonna happen? So what happens now? Because I honestly don't know. Maybe there is actually an answer to this, but okay. Jon Jones is back. He fights Stipe tonight. That means he's an active fighter again. I guess technically he always was, according to Dana White. But it's like, if he was always active, why the fuck do you need the interim? Again, we're asking the question again. But anyway, what are we doing here? Jon Jones is back fighting again. He fights Stipe. Whoever wins, let's just say Jon Jones wins. All right? We still have Tom Aspinall with the interim title. And Jon Jones doesn't want to fight Aspinall. Aspinall still has the title. What does Aspinall do? So Jon's just going to avoid Aspinall for as long as he can? Jon's got at least 2 or 3 more fights left in his tank. Okay, so Jon's going to continue on avoiding Aspinall. So what? What happens to the interim title? Does it just fade away? Does he just lose it? Is there going to be 2 heavyweight fucking belts floating around for the next few years? Like he has to fight him, right? Whether you agree or not with the fact that he deserves it, you can't just have 2 people with the same belt, right? Jon Jones is talking about fighting Alex Periera. He says, well, I got some points here. What did he say? Oh yeah, he said Aspinall does nothing for him. He's not going to excel him. Whether he wins or loses, it's not going to change his what do you call it? Like his recognition. When you look back at Jon Jones' career 10, 20, 30 years down the line, and they see Aspinall in his record, according to him, that's not going to make him look any better than he is now. Which, sure, maybe, because from his point of view, Aspinall is a nobody right now. And there's a lot of nobodies right now. But again, he has the interim title. So yeah, Jon Jones said Periera is the same age as him. He's the same size. You know, Periera walks around at 245 or whatever, which is perfect for heavyweight, even though he is light heavyweight right now. So they'd be the perfect size. He's a bigger name. They'd both make bigger fucking paycheck. It'd be a more exciting fight. It would make it more of a draw. And Periera would actually put some legacy on his name. And at one point, Jon said, "Do you want to lose me or get the super fight?" Which is basically him saying, after Stipe, it's either I'm going to retire or I'm going to fight Alex Periera. And then who knows what's after Alex Periera, because he doesn't even want to consider Tom Aspinall. Now, mind you, I love Alex Pereira, as does everyone. And we all know Alex Pereira and Jon Jones, everything that he said there is absolutely true. That would be a fucking unreal fight. Like, that would be amazing. All right? Like, truly, that would be like the ultimate of ultimate fights. Of course I want that shit to happen. Abso-fucking-lutely make that shit happen. That would be fucking awesome. But we can't forget about fucking Tom Aspinall. So what's going to happen? Okay, so Jon Jones fights Stipe. Let's say Jon Jones wins. Then Jon Jones fights Alex Pereira. Now let's just say Jon Jones wins against Alex Pereira. What is Tom Aspinall doing that whole time? Is he just sitting back and watching? Would Tom still be allowed to fight? I don't know. There's so many questions that need answers. And then would Jon Jones consider Aspinall? Probably not, because he'd want to end in a bang. And according to him, Tom Aspinall isn't a bang. But then you also got to think, the UFC, and there have been plenty of good points in this direction, which I'm going to take it. The UFC, although it does have the best fighters in the world in terms of mixed martial arts, they all go to UFC. It is sports entertainment. Yes, the fighting is ultimate. Yes, the fighting is top tier, the best you'll ever get. It is also sports entertainment. They're not only selling you a fight, they're trying to draw as many people in as possible to sell pay-per-views. It's not just about the fighting aspect of it. That once was the name of the game in the UFC. All right? When the UFC was first established in like the late 90s or whenever it was, that's what it was about. It was just about the fighting. It was about bringing every type of martial art together to create this ultimate fighting championship. Shit that no one ever seen before. They wanted to answer the question, what if a karate guy fights a wrestler? Or if a guy who's good at jiu-jitsu fights a boxer? They wanted those questions answered. And so back then, it was the only people that they attracted were people who actually liked fighting and who people who understood fighting. Everyone else in the world saw it and was disgusted by it and thought it was barbaric and demented and all this shit. But now it's huge. It's the biggest sporting fucking saga. It's so huge now. And they appeal to everyone. Everyone knows about the UFC. Dana White was fucking, he's in Donald Trump's like fucking pocket right now. Like they're it's becoming so well known across the whole globe. Everyone's being attracted to UFC nowadays. Which means that you've got a lot of people buying pay-per-views who either don't know fucking shit about fighting or they're just doing it to be entertained, because that's what it is. It's entertaining. So, with that being said, there always has to be a story built up. There always has to, you have to build drama, you have to build a story like slowly. You have to churn that butter over time. You start with a little seedling and slowly add a little bit of spice here and there to the soup. Bunk, bunk, bunk. Every event, a little bit more gets added, a little bit more, until it gets closer and closer to the inception of whatever it is you're trying to make. All right, and we saw this like once Tom Aspinall actually got the interim title. If you remember, because I remember when he first got the interim title, in his like post-fight fucking speech, like right after he defeated Sergey. Who was it? Was it Joe Rogan or was it DC? I don't know. They were asking him about Jon Jones. And he's like, I have no beef with Jon Jones. If he wants to fight, we can fight. Not a big deal. I don't really care. I'm just going for the belt or whatever. Like he wasn't hot on Jones' tail. And then it wasn't long after that where he completely changed the script. He completely changed the way that he thought about things. And I noticed this right away. I was like, this is a little fishy. Because right after the fight, it just seemed like he was like, well, I'll take it or I'll leave it. If Jones wants to fight, I'll fight him. If not, then who cares? But then it wasn't long after you started seeing him slowly post stuff on social media. And he's like, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm actually going to start calling Jon Jones out. And, it built and it built and it built. And it's still building. And so the things you're hearing Jon Jones say, where he's completely disregarding Tom Aspinall, this is also part of the story building. It's building tension. It's making fans of the sport pick sides. It's making fans of the sport be intrigued and be like, oh, look at this. Tom wants Jones so bad, but Jones doesn't want anything to do with him. It's building a narrative. So it might not even be like truth. Because you got to remember, like I said, sports entertainment. They're building a fucking narrative. They're making people excited, especially the people who, and probably more so the people who don't actually care about fighting, who don't actually know the technical aspect of it, who don't appreciate the fighting. They're just doing it for the entertainment aspect of it. And that's probably a huge chunk of the pay-per-view buys nowadays. And now especially with the fact that they are associated with WWE, they have them on their side to show them the ways of how to actually build a fucking narrative around two fighters. So you've got like the WWE storytelling side plus the actual fighting combined. So like nowadays, it's not even about like who deserves what or whatever. If the story and the narrative is there, the fight will eventually happen. If it's a boring narrative, if the fighter is boring, if it's not getting attention, if the fighter himself is not trying to make his name something that people that people can recognize, then they're going to slowly die off. This Tom Aspinall that we're seeing that's calling out Jones and making videos and creating a YouTube channel and all this shit, that's not the same Aspinall that we saw coming up. He's changed. And it changed as soon as he got that fucking interim title. Because now he has to. He has no choice but to play the game. And that's, whether you like it or not, sure, maybe it's unfortunate. And of course, those purists who are just in it for the fighting and don't give a fuck about the narrative, which I totally agree with, and I'm kind of on your side for that one, but it'll never be that way again. The story has to be a part of it. And so that's why we're seeing Tom Aspinall do this. And that's why we're seeing Jones do this. So even though we're not hopeful right now that Tom and Jones won't fight, this just might be all part of the story, and it might lead to something huge where they actually do fight. Because think about this whole story building and how long it has been building. When it gets to a point where they actually do fight, imagine how fucking exciting that's going to be. But again, who knows if that's even going to happen? This is why I'm at a crossroads. This is why I still don't know whose side to take. Because there's so many fucking aspects to look at it. But ultimately, I will stick to my original conclusion, which is that fucking Jon Jones should fight Aspinall. Absolutely, dude. Abso-fucking-lutely. So like there was like the media press conference today. It's not like the weigh-ins or anything. That hasn't happened yet. But I watched it, and this was also weird because Jones, he wasn't like shit talking Aspinall at all, which is good. But then a media person asked him like a really orchestrated question, a really thoughtful question. Because everyone was asking him about Aspinall the whole time. They're like, do you think you should fight Aspinall? Why don't you want to fight Aspinall? Blah, blah, blah. But this one media guy, I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something along the lines of he asked him, or he explained to him, he's like, we all understand your side of things. We understand that Tom Aspinall doesn't deserve the fight. Or sorry, we understand that Tom Aspinall doesn't have the same credibility as you and yada yada. But can you see from his perspective why he would think that he deserves it? He worded it way better than me. I'd recommend you go watch the full thing. But then Jon Jones responded like this, which was totally left field. And I wasn't expecting it because he was, prior to this, when they were talking about Aspinall, he was like, Tom Aspinall deserves to go far. He's an up-and-comer, and I'm sure he's going to do great things. And then this media person asked Jon Jones this, and then he totally flipped and said this.
But if I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot. But he's just an asshole, you know, with his... you know, he's 30, so he's from this influencer generation where you hop online and the T-shirt sales and all that. I'm past that type of stuff. I'm like, bro, if you had a little bit more respect, then maybe we could have worked something out, you know. But I just don't even want to do business with him. You know, at the end of the day, this is a business, and fighting me gives him an opportunity to change his life forever. And I don't even want to give him the opportunity. Like he just played his cards wrong with me personally. And you know, I'm 3 years from being a 40-year-old grown man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the press conference, going through the whole shebang with him. I'd rather not do. Periera on the other side, respectful, cool, barely says much. It's like I'll do business with you. I would risk it all with a human being like you. You actually have the accolades to back up your shit. This other guy is just a big mouth who's hot today. There's been so many guys who's hot today who are just gone.
What was the point I was going to get here? Wait, what did he say here? There was something.
Maybe we could have worked something out, you know, but he's 30, so he's from this influencer generation where you hop online and the T-shirt sales and all.
He's saying like Tom's being an asshole, Tom's talking shit and all this stuff, and it's like, he's not really. He just wants you to see things from his perspective. You're trying to get people to see things from your perspective, Jon Jones, but why don't you take a look at fucking Tom Aspinall's perspective? And again, I know I'm like a fucking broken record here, and I keep saying this over and over again, but he has the fucking interim title. That's why he wants to fight you so bad. He has the belt. He has the interim title. Why don't you even consider him? What has he said that has made you claim him to be an asshole? Because like this is kind of like this video here kind of sums up what Tom has been saying to Jon Jones over the past like few months. He gets a little bit more like assertive through each video, but he's never been like an asshole. He's just like laying it out as to what he thinks. And Jon Jones said like the fans are being an asshole, and it's like, yeah, I get that, but it's like, don't even listen to them. It doesn't matter what situation you're in, you're gonna get fucking hate from any sort of fan. So that can be completely disregarded. But like, this is the kind of shit that Tom does.
The first thing that most champions would do is like, right, this guy wants it, I'm going to put him in his place. And if he thinks I don't deserve it, show me that I don't deserve it. Show me. Sweet, mate. If you kick my ass in front of the whole world, I'm happy to put my hand out and go, listen, you're the better man. No problem. You took my dreams away from me, but at least I tried. But this ducking and diving is something that I don't really have respect for. And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that Jon Jones has been saying to the media this week. And I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So Jon said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. Jon is the champion, and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. You're like just another up and comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
See, you could say that's him being an asshole, but he's just trying to get the fight going, you know? And actually, Jon Jones, he kind of brought up a good point when he said Tom hasn't fought any champions yet. How could he consider himself to be a champion? And this is maybe an obvious point here, but I was just thinking about that right now. It's like, fuck, I guess you're, like, technically... Like, how to... The interim title is fucking stupid. Like, why does it even exist? You know? Because it's like Jon Jones is on hold. He can't fight. So we'll put Tom Aspinall against Sergey, which I guess they're the two top most contenders next in line to Jon Jones. So, like, whoever wins that gets the interim title. But it's like nobody actually had the title to begin with. So it's like that title just kind of came out of thin air. So I don't know, man. It's just it's a weird situation. The whole thing is weird, and but I love it. I think it's great, and I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what Jon Jones says in his post-fight Octagon interview. If he wins, by the way, which we haven't really even talked about Stipe. Like, you can't discredit Stipe. He's older than Jones, and he's definitely, you know, at retirement age. But I love Stipe, dude. He's a solid fucking guy. He plays fucking Tears of the Kingdom on his Switch and shit, and he's a fucking fireman. Like, he's a fucking solid dude. So I'd be happy either way, and honestly, I want to vote for him to win, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And so there's just one other thing that we need to talk about before we get into fight predictions here. So we all know the UFC has their new gloves, right? So that like media coverage shit that we just saw Jon Jones do, they revealed at that media event that for UFC 309 and possibly 310, they're going to switch back to the old gloves just for these events. But more specifically, 309, they're switching back to the old gloves. And this news just came out, like, for me, it's Wednesday, the 13th. This news just came out, like, a few hours ago. And there's no specific reason as to what happened, why it's happening, I should say. Someone asked Jon Jones about the old gloves, but they didn't ask why it's happening. They just asked if he used the new gloves, and he said, yes, I use them and they're uncomfortable and I dislike them. So we all know Jon Jones has a history of eye pokes. That's like what he's well known for. Not only is he known for eye pokes, but he's known as being kind of a little bit of a dirty fighter, because he doesn't break the rules, but he pushes the boundaries as far as he possibly can. Some people hate that. Some people say it's fine. Some people love it and say, well, if he's not breaking the rules, it's fine. You know, like the oblique kicks. The oblique kicks and the eye pokes were the biggest thing that Rampage Jackson harps on with Jon Jones all the time, because he obviously fought him, and he said, Rampage always claims, he's like, I was in the best condition I was ever in my entire life. I was so confident, which, mind you, is a bad thing going into fights sometimes, but the amount of eye pokes and oblique kicks that Rampage took against Jon Jones was astronomical, and it really hinders a guy. When you get poked in the eye over and over again and the ref does nothing about it, but I think at that time it wasn't as you didn't get, I don't think you got any sort of penalty back then like you do nowadays. I think nowadays you for sure get a point deducted. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what Herb Dean said in that interview I saw. But either way, it is like something to consider nowadays. But the whole reason they made the new gloves is so that it would prevent these eye pokes, amongst other things. But when Jon Jones was asked this question in this media day interview, he said he hated how it curved the fingers. He hated the feel of it. And it's just weird that we all know the UFC caters to Jon Jones, and some would say rightly so because of his position. We all know Dana White is in love with Jon Jones. So it's like, you got to speculate, like, did Jon Jones try the new gloves and decide, like, I don't really like these, so we're not using them? So everyone on this card is going back to the old gloves. And when he was talking about it in the media interview, he said he got a call from Hunter. What's his name? Whatever. The Hunter guy. Hunter Campbell? Is that his name? Dana White's fucking right-hand man. He got a call from him, and he basically said, like, oh, because everyone is a veteran on this card, they're going to go back to the old gloves because that's what they're used to. What? What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. What's the point? Why did you bring the new gloves in to begin with? You brought the new gloves in because you thought the old gloves were ineffective. But now all of a sudden, because the veterans are used to the old gloves, you're going to bring them back and potentially have more eye pokes? Now, I'm not saying the new gloves prevent eye pokes more than the old ones, or that they're even better, but it's just weird that they went to all this effort to make these new gloves, and now all of a sudden they're backing out on the same card that Jon Jones is on, and they announce it like 4 days before the fight is supposed to happen. It just makes you think like they're just trying to push the boundaries however they can, little by little, to try to push things in Jon Jones' favor. Because it's like, they know if he uses the new gloves, the chances of him actually performing an eye poke are not as high. Now, mind you, I shouldn't say this like it's wrong to think this way. And this is just a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with this, but this is kind of what the internet is rolling out. They're saying, like, they're giving Jones every little chance that he can to win. This isn't the first time that they've catered to Jon Jones either. Back in the day when he was caught with performance-enhancing drugs, they canceled the fight and pushed it ahead just so that he could, get off the drugs and continue to fight. Whereas any other fighter, if that happened, they would just be fired immediately. But, we also don't know if, maybe this has nothing to do with Jon Jones. The gloves, I'm talking. Maybe they've just tried the gloves and realized they're actually not that great. And so they're gonna go back to the old gloves and see how that works. And if they like the old gloves, maybe they'll just continue to stick with the old gloves because they realize the new ones are not that great. There was actually someone put up a chart of the KO rates ever since the new gloves were introduced. Like the amount of knockouts has significantly reduced substantially over almost every weight class. Significantly. So maybe that's just the UFC thinking okay, maybe these gloves are actually pretty trash and we're going to go back to the old ones for now, see how it works. But I don't know. But then also in the media coverage, you see they're taking pictures of Stipe, and he's got the gold gloves. He's got the new gloves on. So it's okay, are they using them or not? As it stands right now, they're not using the new gloves. So, and we still don't have a reason. We should look up right now. Let's see if there's any information on the gloves right now. He got a call from Hunter Campbell saying that the gloves are back for 309. What does this guy have to say? I don't know who this guy is, but the data behind the UFC's decision to switch back to the old gloves. I don't know this guy. I don't know if he's credible, but let's just see.
I cannot believe my eyes. The UFC listened to all the complaints and we're finally getting the change. This Saturday at UFC 309, the new UFC gloves will not be used. They're going to go back to the old gloves that they used years prior. I've been a massive spokesperson as to how the new UFC gloves have limited the amount of knockouts compared to the old UFC gloves. Made that post on October 10th. It got over 15,000 likes. I continued to track the data and it only got worse. UFC fights are going to decision at over 60%. The knockout rate with the new gloves is less than 24%. It hasn't been lower than 31% over the last 3 years. And the non-believers were saying, oh, the weight classes. I filled in the data to check out these weight classes, and what we saw was an increase in decision rate for every weight class except women's flyweight and men's featherweight, and a decrease in KO rate in every weight class except for middleweight. Seems like the UFC caught up to this and they're going to make a change for the big pay-per-view this Saturday. Is that because they want Jon Jones to be poking eyes out there? I don't know, but I gotta believe my data helped them make a decision.
See, so that's the other point. It's okay, maybe whenever there's a change, and especially with the UFC, but this goes for anything, whenever there's a change, it's not like everything is revealed immediately. Especially with a big corporation like this. It starts with the rumor, and then it's confirmed that it's actually changed, and then you gotta wait for the information to slowly trickle out. So we might not even hear any updates about the gloves from now until the fight. But for sure, during the post-fight interview with Dana White, at least at that point, someone's going to bring it up. So we'll find out at least by then. So there's a lot coming up. There's a lot going on. I didn't even want to talk about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson because I don't really give a fuck about that. But like I said, I'm going to watch it. But so we'll see. So yeah, of course, the glove thing, people are going to come up with conspiracy theories. It doesn't matter what the change is. But especially, it's just weird though, Jon Jones is finally coming back. He's known for his eye pokes. the new gloves prevent the eye pokes. UFC wants to cater to Jon Jones astronomically. If he doesn't like the gloves, and if he thinks that they might give him a disadvantage, then they'll get rid of him. So, of course, you can see where that connection could be made, but you can't. It's not good to assume that that's what they're doing, because that would be very wrong and very disingenuous. So, but who knows? Look at this. This is Jon trying on the black gloves here. Is that what this is? The old gloves. Whoops.
That's wrong, dude.
You rap on it there.
Yeah, I think we're going with the 3X.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, let's try the other three. So you know that you're actually doing something.
Did you hear that? He said, I think we're going with
Like
this.
Brandon said, you guys can work on that and they'll give them to you in some time.
Sword and shield.
So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe he did it. It wouldn't be surprising if he did influence, this decision. Proof Dana would do anything for him. What? Anyway. Can't just read comments here. So yeah, we'll find out. Oh, wait, Ariel. UFC has informed the fighters competing on Saturday's 309 card that they will be using the old gloves, not the blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Nothing new. So yeah, we'll find out. We don't know if the old gloves are going to make a comeback and stay, or if it's just for this fight. And Ariel did say it would be in 310 as well. So that, the fact that they said it's going to be in 309 and 310 makes me think that they're just going to come back for good. Because if they said it was just 309, then it's like super fishy, But maybe it is just 309, and they're saying it's also going to be in 3010 just so that we don't think it's fishy. Huh? I don't know. Let's just end things off with this. I thought this was kind of cool.
Say it right here, right now. The greatest fighter to ever live, ever, is Jon Jones.
Music. So, I thought that was kind of fun. This was a real fucking. Like I said, this was the UFC episode. I'm super stoked for this weekend. I do have some video clips to show, but we're not even going to do it. This was just UFC coverage. Oh, shit, dude. We got to do our fight predictions. I totally forgot. Okay. I haven't done these in a bit. We're getting back into them because I haven't done them in a little bit. I actually forgot to do something here. Let me just watch what I'm doing here. I'm just going to create a little circle. And I'm going to color it this color. And there we go. And if I go V, boppity boopity. Whoops. Oh, it's frozen. There we go. Okay. So this sheet here, let me just, hold on. Let me turn off the extras. There we go. Okay. You see this sheet here? This is a UFC fight prediction sheet. I make these, okay? I make these every main number event, and I upload them to a Google Drive that anyone can go to and download and print off for you and your friends during fight nights. I don't like using the term fight night because there's the UFC fight nights and then there's the main number events. Whenever there's a main number event happening, I make these. I upload these to a Google Drive. You can go to that drive, which the link is in the description, download this, and print it off. What is it exactly? It's a fight prediction sheet where you and your friends can use this to vote for fighters throughout the night. You can just do your own personal bets. You don't even have to bet. You can just fuck around, play drinking games with it, do whatever the fuck you want with it. As you can see, it's got the early prelims, the prelims, and the main card. It's got a spot to check. You got to print it off, use a pen to check off vote for whoever you want to win. Whoever wins, you check that off. If they come to a draw, you check that off. It's got the country, where they're from. It's got their rank. It's got their nickname here. It's got a picture of them. It's also got their fight record, win, lose, draw. It also tells you their Vegas prediction odds, whether who's a favorite, who's an underdog. It's got their name. It's got the weight class, and it also tells you which order the fights are going in. It's got everything you need to make your predictions for the fight. It's easy. It's simple to read, and it's all contained on one sheet. I worked very hard to create these, and I'm putting them out there for free for anyone to use, so please do that. And whenever there is a fight, the days before the fight comes up, I like to do predictions not only on the show, but with my friends. So, let's get into who I think is going to win, okay? So, I don't know everyone. I know a good chunk of these. I'm starting to learn the names more and more as the years go on. But when it comes to women fights, I pretty much don't know most of them. Hang on a second here. Let me just... Oh, wait. Go back here. Do this. Okay. Yeah, okay. Good. All right, so... The first fight of the night, Hardy versus Mora. Again, don't know who either of these, so I'm going to go for Mora just because I like the Brazils. Okay? Hafez versus Elliott. Both fucking buttes. Love them both. Originally, I was going to go for the Habibi, but I'm really rooting for the Welsh gangster, dude. Fucking Elliott. I don't remember his first name. I just, but I honestly, this could go either way, but I'm going to go for Elliott. Just because I'm liking the direction this guy is going, and I really want to root for him to win. We got Gal versus Brahamij. See, I don't even know who this guy is. I know who Gal is, so I'm going to go for him. These two, Tybura versus Diniz, don't know either of them. One guy's from Poland and Brazil. If I don't know either of them and one of them's from Brazil, I'm going to go for the Brazilian. So then we've got Anima versus Almeida. Again, I don't know either of these guys, but one of them's from Brazil, so I'm going to go for this guy. This Ugandan guy probably could kick ass too. This method doesn't always work, by the way, but it's just kind of what I've done. And I like to do that. I like to keep it going. You know what? Fuck it, dude. Let's go for the Ugandan. Let's go for Anima. Let's give him a chance, dude. Let's spice it up a bit. Okay, we got Jim fucking Miller and Jackson. Now, I don't know this Jackson guy, but I think I might have seen him before. Of course I know who Jim Miller is. Everybody knows Jim Miller. Now, although Jim Miller's a fucking legend, fucking 37-18, like, what? He's been on UFC 100, 200, and 300. He's been in the game forever. But he hasn't been winning his past few fights. He's getting old. And as much as I want to root for him, I don't think he's going to bring it back. I think he's at the end of the line here. And I can't imagine he's going to have many more fights, if any more. This might be his last fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he retired on 309. I want to vote for him. I voted for him the 2 years that he fought, the 2 fights that he had this year, and he didn't win either of them. And he didn't look the greatest either. So I'm unfortunately going to have to vote against him, which I hate to do. And if he does win, that's fucking awesome, and I'm so glad he does win. But we're going to give it to the Leech. So then we've got Weidman and Anders. I'm going to go for Weidman just because I'm familiar with him. Martinez versus McGee, going for Martinez. I really like Martinez. I think he's got a lot of potential. All right, Ruffy versus Lawn Top. Don't know either of these guys. I'm going to go with Ruffy. I'm going to do my Brazilian method here. Again, 2 Brazilians, then they're chicks, and I don't know the chicks. I don't know them. One's rank 9, one's rank 11. I don't know, dude. I'm just going to go for Silva. She's Brazilian and her name's Silva. I mean, what are we going to do here? Now, this one, we all know Bo Nickel's he's a amazing up-and-comer, and he's going to do great things. But then you've got fucking the Bear Jew, fucking Daniel Craig. I know that's not his name. Can't remember his first name. The fucking Scotsman, which he's also a fucking great fighter. I love them both, but I'm rooting for Bo Nickel because Bo Nickel has a chance of becoming the next champ, and I want him to. So I'm putting my money on Bo Nickel here. Now, we've got Chandler and Oliveira. I'm immediately going for Chandler here because I want that redemption story. I want to see him win against DuBronx. Some would even say that he did win. But it didn't happen. I think this is a great redemption story for Chandler. And I am hopeful that he is going to win against Oliveira and he is going to excel in the next few years, and then he's going to retire on top. I really like Michael Chandler, not only for the way he fights, but the way he just communicates, the way he talks, the way he holds himself. He's a really good guy. I really appreciate Michael Chandler for who he is as a person. So I want him to win. And then honestly, for the main event, like all day I was thinking about this. And I was saying to myself, like, fuck, I kind of want to vote for Stipe. You know? Imagine if all this hype around Jones and Aspinall and fucking Jones and Alex Periera, and we didn't even talk about the fact that it's a possibility that even Tom Aspinall can fight Alex Periera. That is still on the table too. That is an option, because if Aspinall fights Alex before Jon Jones, which wouldn't happen, but if that did happen, then Jon Jones has nothing to say. Then Jon Jones has to fight Alex. So this could all part of be the story too, which I was supposed to talk about this, but I completely glossed over it. But so it got me thinking, like today, I'm like, fuck, what if Stipe wins? This whole narrative is blown to pieces. And I love betting against the champion when I think it's a possibility. But I don't think I would love it if Stipe won. I would love it either way. Honestly. I would probably love it even more if Stipe won. Actually, I for sure would. I would love this card even more if Stipe won. But I'm not hopeful. And it sucks to say that. So I'm going to have to go for Jones just because I think he's going to win. So that's my card. I'll zoom out here if you want a full view of it. Again, like I said, if you want this, link is in the description. It might not be uploaded by the time you see this, but it will for sure be uploaded by Friday sometime. I don't like to upload it too early because the Vegas betting odds change, which that I don't really care about because they still change during the fight anyway. but sometimes the order in which the fights happen change, like even last minute. And so in the past, when I upload this too early, the fights change, then I gotta delete it and then remake it and then re-upload it. So I like to just wait until like the very last minute. Not the very last minute, but at least a day before the fight happens to upload it. But it will be available for sure. So go download it, print it off. It's so much more fun. When you set up a fight night with friends, and you print this shit off and hand it out to everyone, it just makes the night that much better. You can do all kinds of shit with this. Even if you're not actually placing money bets, you can just use this to have fun. Just to be like, I'm voting for this guy. Oh, I'm voting for this guy. Well, we'll see who wins. If your guy wins, you got to take a shot. You know, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Or you can actually do money bets together. All right, and it just makes it simplified. It makes it easy to read. You can just grab the sheet, look at it. It's got all the stats, everything you need on this one sheet. It has taken me a while to curate this, but I've perfected it. And it still gets better. I add and remove stuff, and I make it better each and every time. So, yeah, that's it for this episode of the DynamiteGizmo podcast. I'm stoked for this weekend. I hope you are too. And please like, comment, subscribe. If you liked any of it, just hit the subscribe. Don't be shy. It's free. All you got to do is click it. Well, you don't have to. It's up to you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.